Welcome, everyone, to the Day or Night in the Desert podcast with James and Zach. I'm your co-host, Zach, along here with my co-host, James.
Yeah, we're really excited to be here. We have a really special guest on today. He is a Mammoth super fan, as I would call him. I actually work at the Delta Center. I've had the opportunity to meet him on a number of occasions. But we are here with the one and only social media influencer, the biggest Utah Mammoth fan there is, the one and only Utah Hock. Say hello. What's been up, man? It's good to have you.
Tuss up, boys. Tuss up. Utah Hock. Glad to come on here with you guys, man. Sucks the season's over, but we got, hockey's here to stay, and it's year-round now. But what's up, boys?
How's it going?
It's going. Like I said, I'd rather be getting back. I was supposed to land right about now, or about 5 minutes ago was when my plane was landing from Vegas for going to the Game 7. So I much would have rather done that, but at least I had the day off, so I just still didn't go into work and stayed home and still just soak around, man. But other than that, it's going good.
Yeah, well, it's awesome to have you here, and we're all sad that the season's over, and we wish it could have ended a little bit differently for the Utah Mammoth. But I will say I am happy we were able to make the playoffs, and it's a big step forward for our team, and so I hope our fans do appreciate that. And to get into sort of the questions that we have, we kind of want to know, how did you become such a big hockey fan? We see you all over the place in the arena. I've seen you on social media all the time, hyping up our team, sometimes even engaging in a little banter, trash talk, whatever. What kind of got you into this, and what was the origin story behind that?
Well, I was born into hockey here in Salt Lake, all 50 years. Born and raised here, born at Cottonwood Hospital, Murray, and my family was a hockey family because my dad came here in 1968 to go to the U. Met my mom. My uncle was a manager at one of the few ice rinks around. It was Hygeia Iceland. They had a swimming pool in the summer up in Sugar House, and took my dad when the Golden Eagles came in 69, took my dad to some games, and my dad had season tickets to Golden Eagles from 70 on, so as soon as you were out of the hospital in 75, you were going to games as a baby. Could skate before I could run fast in 1977. And so my love of hockey came from just being born into hockey here in Utah. And I played for 10, 11 years until it got a little too pricey and some other stuff. But then, like I said, my dad, until he couldn't go anymore, my family had Golden Eagles season tickets to the Grizzlies season tickets until he couldn't go anymore in about 2016. And all my kids have been raised going to Grizzlies games. And so when I heard we were getting an NHL team, man, I've been a fan of Pittsburgh. I was a fan of Pittsburgh. I'm still a fan, but instantly, Mammoth, an NHL team in Utah, I was all aboard. I was one of the first to get, first few hundred probably to get my deposit in for season tickets, and just the train's gone off the tracks from there.
Yeah, and then another question we have is, what got you into doing your social media influencing? Seeing you out on social media a lot, promoting the team, maybe engaging with some fans. And I think that's really been cool to see what kind of got you into that.
That's been me for a long time. The hockey culture has really caught on more, and I never was really big in the jazz, but so it's been the hockey that's really pumped me. But the way I've been on social media, making videos in my garage or whatever house, I've lived here for 11 years, but it was the same in my other places. I've been on the same rants, whether it's for my youth. I'm a New York Jets and a football fan, unfortunately. So my fandom and fanaticism has really been out there, especially at the Pens. You're so far away from Pittsburgh. I wasn't just bantering about that. So the hockey's really exploded it, but doing what I do, I cook also, so I've kind of been in my off season of cooking. I've always been on the social media and kind of known, and as Facebook has died down, I'm pretty known on Twitter, and then IG's just really blown up, so it's just me. It's what I've been doing, so it's easy to do with the team.
Does it ever bother you when opposing fans of a team come at you or say mean things?
No, it does when it crosses the line, which this last series a few did too much, because I say a lot of things. You're going to play in the kitchen. You got to get burned, especially. You're going to talk the talk. You got to walk the walk. So mean things, wah. You hear them all, the stupid superlative or same crap everybody uses about our state. There's always the religious stuff, and that does make, if you're a religious bigot, that's one of the few people I won't hardly argue with, or I don't like to block. But as long as it doesn't, I'm not physically threatening anybody personally or even the whole fan base when I'm telling them off. And when they come at my house, or because I'm pretty, and I've always been that way, my family's known I'm not a hide behind. You got a lot of hide behinds on social media. And so those are the ones that kind of bug you. But I'm out there. I say where I'm from. There's pictures of me. There's pictures of my family. They're included in my videos. So when it crosses the line to somebody coming after me, my family, my house, then, I've had to make a few police reports. But, like I say, you're playing in the kitchen. You're going to get burned. I got to eat crow with Vegas Knight fans, and I'm still battling with those guys. It's kind of like, guys, go get a life. Because most fans know me and appreciate me, and even Vegas Knight fans, I get messages on the daily from across the world, everywhere, that love my passion. They love following the Mammoth because of me. Hockey needs more people like me. They wish they had them in their fan base. So the positives outweigh the negatives, and you're definitely going to run your mouth. You're going to get it ran back at. But luckily on IG, I got a pretty good army that in the comments, there's so many notifications a day I can't see. I still got messages from last week that I haven't even seen when we lost. So I can't see everything, and it's cool that, as long as everybody kind of keeps it up and up, doing the same thing, talking crap or whatever, it's fun.
Do you have any traditions on game day that you do with your family before a home game?
Well, traditions, we're always one of the first in the Delta Center to get our spots at warm-ups, and last year was a lot easier, but we're always in the first 10. Like this year, the first game, I was there 7.5 hours early to be the first one in, the first of the public in for Mammoth season. And warm-ups is our big tradition, and you've got to be there. I mean, like I said, there's a few people that are just insane going for the buy the pucks, but you're there. I mean, on my work days, I'm home for a half hour to shower and leaving to get back down there, and we're there usually 4 hours before puck drops. 2 hours sitting there in the Delta Center. That'd probably be my only tradition that we really have. I mean, it's nothing. I like to wear the same jersey. My jersey's what I always wear. My stuff like that, small. But our tradition, I would say, is going early, getting in line, and being first in the doors to get down to warm-ups.
That's always what I liked to do during games. I used to have Jazz tickets for years, and we used to get there super early to the games, and it was just super fun to be able to be a part of that atmosphere. And so I'm glad that you're kind of carrying that on with hockey, especially in a Utah culture where it seems like everybody wants to be late and they don't want to be there on time, but you're always there on time, ready to go. And so that's awesome to see. I do have a kind of a two-part question here, and it's about, you're a super fan, and I've seen you out on social media. You have all these cool opportunities and stuff. And so I guess the two-part question would be, what's the coolest thing you've gotten to do as an influencer or as just a super fan? What's the coolest opportunity you've had? And then is there any drawbacks to that? And if so, what are they, and how much does that impact what you do?
I've got some really cool things, and especially lately, they're not really sponsorships because I'm not making any agreement back. But I mean, I've got some really cool from getting top of the line. Blackstone reached out to me and just sent me a bunch of products and their top of the line griddle. You got the beer companies are starting to find me. But the coolest thing I did this year was through Trucordia. Trucordia is a founding sponsor for the Mammoth, and they have their suite there, and they have four tickets right behind the Attack Twice net. And I got to sit there for 2 games this year, one game in their suite, and then 2 games right on the glass. The Kings game, the end of March, and the Canes. So that's you got the Entrada Club. That food is amazing on that. And then we did their suite, and just them let me do that. And the second time I sat in the glass, they let me find a fan from the upper bowl. They had me and Wolfie from NHL Utah. Wolfie, he found a fan too, and he brought him down from the upper bowl to sit with him and have the Entrada passes, and I found one. So that'd be my coolest. The best thing I got by far is the Trucordia reaching out to me this last month and being in their suite and down on the glass. And answer to your second part, there's no real drawbacks. If it's drawbacks, sometimes, kids definitely, my kids don't think I'm as cool as, my youngest, he's 13. He's almost as big as me, but his favorite thing to do is Utah Hock, make fun of it because that's all you hear in the hallways. And they get sick of taking the pictures a lot of times because I'll get some games, the playoffs, I was getting at least 200-300 pictures taken a game, if not more. Which that's fine by me, and that's not a drawback because people sometimes are hesitant to ask or that, and then once you get one, people start lining up. But that's not a drawback, only in the way to, like I say, my kids, they're getting benefits from it too. But to them, I'm just regular old dad, and if I didn't do what I did the other night for them, they still tell me off or something like that. That would be the biggest drawback. So far, there's been none. Like I say, a few negative fans or when you're on top, some people can get jealous and try and come after you on social media or other ways. And so I've had a few of those, but the positive outweighs the drawbacks for sure.
What has surprised you most about this young Utah Mammoth team this season?
Surprise this season. I don't know what surprised a lot because I said at the start of the year, to me, it was playoffs or bust. I think Bear was going to be gone if we didn't make playoffs. And I'm not. I love Coach Bear. I mean, his corner, I know a lot of people, especially giving up the leads in the series, but probably biggest surprise would be the worst surprise was the J.J. Paterka's play all year because I was huge. Josh was my favorite player last year. So in that trade, and then to see him flourish over in Buffalo, which that's my biggest disappointment that surprised me. I thought Paterka would have made a bigger thing. And then, honestly, and it's not a huge surprise, but Gunnar getting to that 40-goal mark was probably the biggest. You knew he's a sniper and going to get well over 30, I probably thought, but surprised that he actually did get to the 40 is really cool. That's probably what I'd say my biggest surprise was with the season.
Yeah, Gunnar was a great surprise, and I expected him to do great, but 40 goals is very, very impressive. So kind of just a couple more questions before we wrap up. We certainly appreciate your time, but I wanted to ask what your predictions were for this Mammoth team going into next year. What do you want to see us do, and what do you think is realistic as far as next year or maybe even further down the road? But going into next year, let's focus on that.
They got some decisions to make this offseason because you got Curfey is unrestricted, I believe. We got so much young coming up we had between Boot and Simi being up here good chunks of the year at times and back down. You have so many youngsters ready to come up, or you never know how long are we going to leave Iginla down. We need to get bigger. We need to get bigger. Just because we made the playoffs this year doesn't mean a thing. Because last year's President's Trophy winner, the Winnipeg Jets, best team in hockey, didn't make in the regular season, didn't make the playoffs this year. And yes, because of injuries or whatever else, the Florida champions, the back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, didn't even make the playoffs. So playoffs aren't guaranteed or a given, but to build, we've definitely got to get bigger, which I know we've got size. That's why I say our size is younger, and Simi and Boot, and you hope Mavlam, who we got to see last year and for a game or two this year, can come up. We need bigger size, especially to succeed in the playoffs. And so my prediction next year, I want them to make the playoffs. I'm going to predict the playoffs, but like I say, they've got some decisions. The Curfey, and as much as he's a fan favorite and you love his little scrappiness out there, I believe Hades is a restricted free agent or maybe unrestricted. I haven't looked exactly. There's just some decisions to make. And then, like I say, especially with our youth coming up, you've got to have spots to put them, even if they're not playing every night. So it scares you what they're going to do. Marino's on his last year contract next year. I'm friends with his dad and his family pretty good. You'd like to see that get done in the off season, because if it doesn't, then he's and our depth with our D, because now getting Weeks and his contract. And there's things I hope they sign him in the off season. I think Vitek, he was a 1-year contract. I bet they're going to try and find another, backup goalie. But like I say, we need to get our youth, our development, keep moving up to the NHL, and size is where I really want them to specify. So, it'll be cool to see. We've got so much young talent in the pipeline that kicked butt in their minors. Desnoyers, Baudouin, Iginla, and those are the ones, like I say, not even at Tucson, because Tucson, like we talked about, Mavlam, Simi, Boot. Oh, and Yams is a free agent this year too. So there's a lot of big that I don't have an inside to build, GMBA and GMBA we trust, but there's a lot of decisions where I think there might be some fan favorites that just aren't in the plan for next year. And unfortunately, this is a business and how it goes. But it'll be interesting to watch.
I know you've been in the Delta Center with the rocking crowd, but have you seen any other arenas that have a fan base like ours that just rocks every night?
Well, they're out there. Unfortunately, it's not Vegas. It's not. I mean, especially from afar. I haven't been there, but the Bell Center, man, those Montreal people, and I'm partial. I got some friends up there and watched that. As far as, I mean, I haven't been really. I went to Colorado. Their fans are quiet, sit on their hands. I'm louder than all of them, and that makes them mad because they're so spoiled for winning. To them, it's just expected. And yeah, they get raucous when they score a big hit, but then they just sit on their hands. There's plenty out there. The Buffalo, now that they're winning again, looks wild though. Watching that, especially their first game, that Buffalo is rocking. There's a lot of good ones, but I mean, I haven't been to necessarily them. And yeah, I know in the playoffs, that game too, especially when we came back from 3 goals down to those 2 goals in 22 seconds. That's louder than it was in the 97-98 finals for Jazz and Bulls.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I was working that game, and like you could almost feel the building shake. I mean, it was insane. But honestly, there was one thing you said that I thought was very good that you said it, because I wanted to bring it up too. But the support for Coach Bear, I've seen a lot of fans out online saying, we want Coach Bear gone. He's not the guy going forward. And my take on this has always been, he's brought us here from Arizona, who was a struggling franchise in the gutter. Like, I absolutely couldn't do anything, couldn't get any fans to come to their games. And they come here, and last year they made a lot of strides from where they were in Arizona, and then this year they're in the playoffs. So he is moving us in the right direction in a very big way. And so I've always been a supporter of Coach Bear. So I really appreciated that you said that. Do you have any other thoughts on that?
Well, on Bear, I don't know if he's the first coach ever or second, can't remember the exact stat. Each of his first 5 seasons as an NHL coach, he has got better. No setback, more points. Everybody's argument against Bear is that, I love Bear, but he's a developmental coach. Now it's time we need somebody to push us over the top. But to that argument, I say, well, no, with especially the hot young youth we got coming up too, whether it's Ginla, Denoye, Baudouin, the ones I talked to you about, we're still, as much as we're in a win now phase, we're still in a big development phase. And if you watched, especially last night's game between Minnesota and Colorado, we are light years away from being a Stanley Cup team right now. We just are. We need the experience. And I know Anaheim made it. Whoever wins out of Anaheim, Vegas is getting smoked by Colorado more than likely anyway. So to see the level we need to be at, we need to keep developing our youth, which Logan Cooley's 21? Gunner's 22. I mean, I know Keller is older at 27, 28, but Robel's coming up. We have so much youth that we still need that development along. And like I said, Bear's gotten better each year. To me, I said this was a make or break here, in my opinion, for Bear to make the playoffs, or I think there really might have been strong conversations to go elsewhere. But he's on track. So for all these armchair experts, and there's a lot more hockey experts in Utah than I ever knew. Believe me this. I know I'm not totally skin in the game every year real bad with everything going on in hockey in this state, but there's just a lot of armchair quarterbacks, general managers that know what to do, and I don't understand it with Bear. I let everybody's entitled their opinion. Those would be my arguments against and why I appreciate him.
I certainly appreciate him as well.
I have one more quick question. Does it ever get tiring when you go out in public and you are noticed by fans that want to come up to you, take pictures, or get your autograph?
Luckily, nobody's asked me for autograph yet. No, the pictures, it really doesn't get tiring. It's funny. I'll get Shelby and Smiths, and sometimes it's a picture, just shout outs. It's not tiring. Like I say, it's flattering. I am just your regular guy. I work 45 to 50 plus hours every week doing this. I'm not some rich guy that just buys my way and travels around and does everything. I attended 46 games this year, only missed 1 at home, and then I made 1 on the road. But it doesn't get tiring at all. It's like I say, I'm just your average man. It's fun to be, like I said, the benefits of all the stuff that's coming along. And, I'm all for it. Mammoth Nation growing. I love going in the store and seeing mammoth hats and mammoth shirts, or somebody just giving me five or tuss up as we're walking by, or, saying my tagline of tuss to ass and stuff like that. It doesn't get tiring at all. And my cameo, I get cameo requests. I think I've got 3 today that I've got to go do. That's some money. I don't make money in much places. Like I say, I get a lot of free things, but so it does it. To answer your question, no, I'm very appreciative of it. It's flattering. I'm humbled. And it's just cool that, I've been this wild, crazy guy for a long time. And, it's funny it's kind of paying off. Finally, my wife's kind of like, yeah, maybe I should stuck with you for 30 years. So, yeah.
I have one more other quick question. Is it fun to have your family there at games, especially? I saw your latest story with your granddaughter. Is she an upcoming fan?
Oh yeah. That's family and passing it all on, which is what was done to me. That's the best. And that's, I say, I only have 2 season tickets, but because of buddies or friends a lot, I always have a lot of extra tickets, or say that Trucordia. So when we clinched our first ever playoffs, the Mammoth against Nashville earlier this year, when we clinched, I was in the Trucordia suite with my youngest son. And then my buddy was out of town, so I had his 4 lower bowl seats. So I had all my kids and my grandbaby and wife in those seats. And then I got to give my 2 season tickets I gave away to a good cause for somebody to go their first game. But family being at the game is what it's about. Like I said, I have my 2 boys probably went combined, like where I had an extra ticket for them. We probably went 15 times versus the 3 of us. My grandbaby got to go to 4 games this year. My oldest kids, to have my whole complete family at 2 or 3 games is just, that's what it's about, is experiencing that, especially that playoff game where my grandbaby, that video is cute. I was on the other end because I had 4 tickets for the playoffs. But so I was over in my 2, then my older kids had to buy 2. So we had the family kind of everywhere, and you still connect. But now family, and that's what it's about for me. I'm not here to be the superstar and everything. I'm here to cheer on my team and love it, but doing it with my family and then the rest of my friends now, and 17,000 other friends and family I've made, is really cool.
Yeah, well, Utah Hock, we really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and speak with us. Before we sign off here, is there anything else that you would like to say that either we didn't ask about or that we didn't cover that you just want to say to us or to the fans or to whoever's out there? Because we really appreciated having you on.
Yeah, no, good. Keep it up. I love all these local podcasts. I love it. People are getting into them. So thank you guys. Like I said, no problem to come on and shoot the breeze about our team. I got the Clubbers Cookout, 2nd annual Clubbers Cookouts, May 23rd. I threw the Clubbers Cookout last year. It's going to be huge probably this year. It's up here at Copperton Park where I live. If you don't know where Copperton Park is, basically the biggest open pit mine in the world. You look below it, where 90th South ends. But just throwing that again this year. And like I say, you'll see, especially that's starting to get pushed a lot more online. Anybody that listens to this, there's groups on Facebook already. It's posted in the NHL fan page or the Mammoth fan page. So that's the only thing I'd mention, that we're doing that again. Like I say, we just do burgers, dogs, waters, chips, $5. And then there's raffles. Team players use sticks, hopefully team autograph sticks, a bunch of stuff for the raffles that we're doing. That's all I'd like to mention there. But like I say, you guys keep doing what you do. Mammoth Nation, let's keep growing. Let's keep rocking. Let's have a good off season. And, we're only up from here. And it's really cool to be in on the ground level. That's what people don't, I think people see and talk about, but I don't think they know what it is to appreciate that. And maybe I do a little bit more because not many people get to be on the ground our age in any sport. Most franchises have been around forever. And so to be able to be one of the super fans, any fans, just from the ground level, we're the ones making these traditions. We're the ones, like, we are on the ground level. I know it was the Coyotes and before the Winnipeg Jets, but no, this is NHL in Utah. It ain't going anywhere, and we are the foundation. So long after we're gone, hopefully longer for others, you're going to be able to tell stories to your kids and I was at the first game or I watched the first game here. So I hope fans appreciate how rare this is in sports to not only be at a start of a franchise, but a successful franchise with a great owner. So that's all I'd have to say, man. Tuss up. And like I said, you guys keep on rocking and appreciate you having me on.
Thank
Tusks
you
up.
so much. Tusks up, baby.
Tuss
Tusks up.
up.
Appreciate you, Utah Hock. You're the man.
Thank
Heck
you.
yeah.
Thank you.